morning. Welcome to the Forest Lake Morning Show. It is a beautiful Sunday here in Tampa, Florida. I am Brendan.
And I'm Tyler. And today we are going to start it off like we always do with the Billboard Hot 100, the top 10.
Let's dive in.
No surprise here. Week of January 7th, 2023, we still have 8 out of the top 10 songs are Christmas songs. What are you people listening to? Stop listening to Christmas
music, baby.
It's over. Leave it in the past. Leave it in 2022.
You know, to be fair, I haven't listened to Christmas music since Christmas, actually.
Yeah, but you know what you have still up downstairs?
What do we got?
The Christmas tree.
Year round.
Year round. So I'm surprised you haven't been, that this isn't because of you. Honestly, this might be the time to release So I'll Wait because no one's topping the charts other than Christmas songs. So they need something new to listen to.
They need some So I'll Wait. So I'll Wait's our new single, by the way.
Yes, you'll be hearing it soon. Okay, number 1, All I Want for Christmas Is You by Mariah Carey. Number 2, Brendan Lee, Rockin' Around the Christmas Tree. Number 3, Jingle Bell Rock. I'll give it, that's a great song. I'm not gonna lie, it's just so happy. By Bobby Helms, still at number 3. One that has moved up, those have all stayed consistent from last week, by the way. The one that has moved up to the 4 spot from the 5 spot is Last Christmas by Wham.
Wham's back on the charts.
Wham has never left the charts. Yeah, they've been on the chart for 31 weeks somehow.
3 or 4 weeks, yeah. Oh,
yeah,
34
well,
weeks.
because of the leading into the Christmas season,
Wow.
a lot of these songs have been on the Hot 100, but they've been creeping their way up. Number 5, we have A Holly Jolly Christmas down from 4 to 5, so they flip-flopped 4 and 5. It's the Most Wonderful Time of the Year has stayed at number 6. Feliz Navidad is up from number 8 to number 7. Anti-Hero is creeping its way back up from number 9 to number 8. So it looks like Taylor Swift isn't going anywhere, especially because she's about to kick off her tour in March, I believe.
Yeah, she just started rehearsals for it.
She did just start rehearsals for it. So that'll be great. We'll just see those back on the charts very soon.
Why was that like a sarcastic? That'll be great.
Because we all know how I feel about Taylor Swift. No, Taylor Swift's great. I don't want it to come across like I hate Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
I just think she's overrated a little bit.
She's a really good songwriter. Like
She's a great songwriter.
She's really
a beautiful voice.
good. Yeah.
I do think Midnight's wasn't that impressive. And we talked about it because of the different producers on it.
I'll agree with that.
Jack Antonoff was on it.
She's had better albums.
She's had better albums. Reputation, incredible. Her first tour in almost 5 years. She hadn't toured since Reputation in 2018. So this is a big tour coming up. The Christmas Song by Nat King Cole was at number 11 last week. It is at number 9. And number 10, we have Unholy by Sam Smith and Kim Petras. So that
was there last week, I think.
That one's hanging around, dude. It did just come out recently, but it's 14 weeks on the chart. Peaked at number 1. Last week it was number 10. Still is at number 10. And that is your Hot 100 out of the Billboard. That's your top 10 out of the Billboard Hot 100.
Tongue twister.
Dude, every time I get so nervous saying it because I'm like, okay, you got the Hot 100, but then we have the top 10 of the Hot 100.
Yeah.
So I got to make sure I say it correct.
Yeah. I like it. We'll dive into news for this week.
News.
We're going to start off with a big one.
Okay.
I think this has kind of been a recurring theme, too, that labels are just evil, and they just steal money from artists, and that's what they do.
Yeah.
So, we're going to kick it off right. Universal Music Group is facing a class action lawsuit for allegedly depriving artists of royalties that they're contractually owed.
Oh, that sounds about right.
To the amount of $750 million.
Wow.
$750 million that they owed to artists and they kept. Which is kind of nuts.
You think it's legitimate? You think that they have? You think it's going to they're filing a lawsuit, but these can be dismissed or whatever the case, and
they can be, yeah. I'm not sure that's such a big amount.
Did they say any names?
Not
so
specifically, but so this I found kind of interesting. A lot of major labels have a bunch of shares in Spotify, right? I mean, Spotify is probably the largest music platform. It makes sense to have a shit ton of shares, right? So in 2018, Spotify IPO'd, and in 2018, Warner Music Group sold their shares for $504 million, something like that. It was over $500 million. Used that money to pay their artists.
Wow.
So it's kind of been a trend. Like, okay, you have shares in Spotify, you sell your shares, pay your artists. That's how it works. Sony also had shares in Spotify, sold some of their shares for like $250 million or something like that, paid their artists. Universal comes around. They own 6.49 million shares of Spotify,
Jeez.
which equates to today like $540 million. Haven't sold it. Haven't paid their artists. Haven't sold.
Well, if they do find that they are guilty, the courts, then artists are getting paid. They're going to be getting a big check.
Yeah. But it's the money that they were owed.
Yeah.
Like, per the contract with the label, they were owed that money.
That sounds about right.
Yeah, it does.
Such a shame, dude. You know, I know there's big artists. I don't know off the top of my head. I'm sure we've mentioned a few, but like artists that are under UMG, just a shame that they have to even deal with this, that there's no...
Yeah, it does seem like it's a recurring thing. It really is. It happens all the time.
So we will not be signing with UMG one day. No thanks. Yeah, we'll stick with, I think Parlophone, they're attached to...
That's a UK label, isn't it?
But I think they work with somebody else. I only bring them up because Coldplay's with them, and if Coldplay trusts them, I'm gonna trust them.
There are good labels out there.
There are good labels
For the record,
there are good labels.
Yeah.
UMG, maybe not one of them, but that's crazy. This money is just insane when you talk these numbers.
Yeah,
what they're just chilling with. I mean, who's in charge of this?
They're making out, man. They're making out.
Is there just like a minimum wage or like a salaried position person who's like, yeah, all right, we're doing the. Here's the booking for this company, and it's $700 million. I mean, it's got to be more complex than that, right?
I'm sure it is, but crazy.
Wow. Crazy. Okay. Any other big major headlines that you got? Before I jump into, I don't have too many.
Yeah.
So that's why I wanted to see what else we got.
Yeah, I got another big one.
Yeah. What do we got?
Okay, so this is kind of like a money themed podcast,
Episode?
I guess.
Okay.
With the news stories at least. So Lil Uzi Vert, Young Thug, and Gunna are being sued for $1 million.
Really?
For using a sample in their latest song, Strawberry Peels. Maybe not the latest song, but they all collabed and they wrote a song called Strawberry Peels.
Mm-hmm. Fields?
Peels. Yeah, Strawberry Fields.
Oh, Fields.
That would have been the Beatles.
Strawberry Fields.
Coldplay too.
Strawberry Swing is Coldplay.
Strawberry Swing.
Strawberry
okay.
Fields is Beatles, you're saying?
No, Strawberry Fields is Beatles. Yes.
And okay.
Strawberry Peels
Peels
is the name of this song.
Do people peel strawberries?
Dude, I think we need a strawberry song.
Is that the
Strawberry Fields?
Strawberry Fields.
Latest song by Force
Actually,
Lake.
dude, that kind of sounds kind of cool.
Strawberry Fields.
Doesn't it? Coconut chapstick, Strawberry Fields.
Strawberry Fields.
What are we doing here, dude?
We'll
we're
write
just
it after
we're
this.
just creating great song names. Okay.
So the sample they used in the song was taken from Blackout's 1995 song "Dim the Lights."
Okay.
And if you know anything with rap, it's like all samples.
Yeah.
Like you start with a sample, put kick and a snare and some sine wave bass in there, and like that's your beat, that's your song. But apparently they did not have permission. They allegedly did not have permission. We're talking lawsuits here.
That's one of my favorite
correct.
words. Allegedly.
Allegedly.
You could use it for anything, dude.
Yeah. But they did not have permission to use a sample. They used the sample. The song blew up, went crazy, and now they're being sued for it.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Or no, they are being sued for it.
Yeah, but they allegedly
Okay.
did not have permission.
Well, that's pretty fucked up. I do know how hard it is to clear samples, so I could maybe see like, oh, they think
Sure.
they can get away with it. But I listened to a guy named Logic, and he's been open about a lot of the samples he uses because he does do it the right way. He clears them. He has to pay a lot of money to use some.
Yeah.
But he prides himself in the work and the song that he's making that he'll do that. It
Sure.
is no easy task.
Oh, I bet. I mean, that's also why you have maybe like the backing of a label.
Yeah.
They could do all the legal stuff, handle that for you, get permission.
Get the money too.
Yeah.
Ready to go. $1 million. Wow.
Yeah.
I like this strawberry thought though.
Strawberry Fields
We're
coming
have
out
to-
in March.
we're gonna just open up a Pro Tools session after this, and
Yeah.
Daniela watching
That
this,
is
she's
pretty
gonna be
cool.
like, "Oh wow!" She's gonna get a song in a few months about it. This is
Yeah.
where it comes from.
But so I mean, this was not the first time that Young Thug and Gunna had a run-in with the law.
Repeat offenders
Repeat offenders recently.
for stealing music.
Last year, they were involved in a massive RICO case against YSL. So YSL is Young Slim Life. It's like a gang in Atlanta, right? And a RICO case is racketeer influenced and corrupt organizations.
Jesus.
So essentially, like they were involved in a gang called YSL in Atlanta, and they were busted for it, I guess. Gunna pled guilty, and he just got out, but he was in jail since May. And Young Thug, as of tomorrow, starts trial, and he's allegedly charged for 8 out of 65 possible cases. So
allegedly. 8 out of 65.
Yeah.
First of all, 65. 65.
Yeah.
He's charged for 8 of them allegedly.
Yeah.
Dude,
we'll see how that goes.
What are the decisions that these children make?
Yeah.
These kids. I don't know. Is it that they get so much money so quick, or is it that they just don't surround themselves around the right people? Because there's other bands and other artists that are not doing stuff like this. You know, I don't want to generalize and say it's only rap artists. There is a trend, I feel like, but it's not. I mean, like,
well, I think it's like a lifestyle thing that comes with that genre.
Like the whole guns, money, drugs, bad bitches, like stuff like that. Yeah,
like you look at like reggae music. The typical reggae artist is like you would think a pothead. Like he's Rastafari. You know, like there's kind of these recurring themes.
Right. Now I will caveat this because there are 2 stories that I read. I wasn't going to talk about them, but just so we're not generalizing rap industry or rap artists, I'll summarize these real quick because it is artists or people in other aspects of the music industry. Matt Schultz, the singer of KG Elephant, just got arrested for gun possession in a hotel. Somebody snitched on him for sure. Somebody definitely snitched. Nonetheless, got arrested for gun possession in New York City, having 2 loaded firearms that I don't think were registered to him. More details on that will come. So that's an incident where you have a non-rapper making a poor decision. And then also there was a Nashville Grammy award-winning engineer who...
I heard about this.
He held his wife and daughter at gunpoint.
Yeah.
They ended up... It was like this whole exchange in the middle of the night. Then he fell asleep. They snuck out to the police station, told them what happened, and then they sent the SWAT, and he ended up... he didn't put up like a fight, but they ended up killing him because of some gun...
SWAT shot him?
Yeah, he came to the door, had a gun, and then I think he did shoot at him. And he ended up dying from a gunfire exchange. So that's another incident of an individual who's not related to rap who makes poor decisions. I only say that because I don't want to generalize rap industry.
Right.
Rap music.
I mean, it's not all rap artists either.
It's not. Yeah, it's not.
Yeah. But that's funny you said, who was it? Andrew Schultz from KG Elephant? Was it Andrew?
No, Andrew Schultz. He's the comedian, I think. Mark. Oh, now I'm forgetting his name.
Who did you say?
Mike?
From Cage.
Yeah, the singer. Matt Schultz.
Matt Schultz
is the name.
So is it their guitar player that's Brad Schultz?
Is it?
Because I think we met the guitar player. I'm pretty sure it was Brad Schultz, potentially.
Where?
When we played Lollapalooza.
Oh,
back
really?
in like 2012
or
2013. Yeah.
Really?
Super nice guy, though. Yeah.
Was I there or were you there? I might have been around.
I'm pretty sure you were there. But I don't think we met the singer.
So we met the guy who wasn't brandishing loaded guns in a New York City hotel.
Potentially his brother.
Allegedly his brother.
Allegedly. Potentially,
allegedly his brother. Very interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll run through real quick what I had to share. The only newest things that I felt relevant for me to bring up to you individuals watching this is some new album releases coming out this year, because obviously it's a new year, so we got to look forward to some new music, right, from some of the biggest names out there. Miley Cyrus is releasing, she teased on her New Year's Eve party that she had with Dolly Parton in Miami. She is dropping an album called Endless Summer Vacation on March 10th, and a new single called Flowers comes out January 13th. This follows her 2020 album Plastic Hearts, which I didn't particularly like. There were a couple good songs on it, some that I actually do still listen to, but I think Endless Summer Vacation, I got high expectations for it. I also have a crush on Miley Cyrus, always did. She's super cute.
Yeah, she has a cool sound, I think.
Yeah, she has that like brazen, if that's a word. I think brazen.
For what?
Just like tough. Like she's got attitude.
She does have a little like grit to her voice.
She's got grit.
Yeah.
Like she a carefree attitude, and she can sing.
She can
really sing.
Yeah. I think when she came out with like Malibu back, like whenever that was, like 5-10 years ago, something like that. Maybe that wasn't 10 years, but I was like, this is cool. Yeah. Like that's a really cool like feel to that song.
True. And she's also got Party in the USA, which I think any American, whether they admit it or not, like that song. It's just a fun time song.
Because it's been played a trillion times.
Yeah, but it's a good
ingrained in everyone's brain.
You know, so I listened to it the other day. It is incredible to hear how young she sounded. Right? So I know sometimes like we listen to artists and we listen to their earlier stuff and you're like, wow, they sounded like that? Because they've grown, 10 years later or whatever.
Yeah. You know what's interesting? Like, you listen back to older pop hits and the production's just terrible.
Yeah.
But at the time, you were like, wow, this is so cool. You know, it's great. Like, it sounds amazing. But you listen back and it sounds like very basic. Like it doesn't sound that great.
Right.
It's still a good song. The production's just very outdated.
Yeah, and we owe that to Ryan Tedder for coming around and producing Alien style.
I'm wondering if like the stuff that we're listening to now, like like the best production by like Max Martin or something, it sounds awesome right now. It sounds really cool. Like there's a lot happening with it. I'm wondering like 10 years from now we listen back to like any song, any pop hit, and we're like, man, this kind of sucks.
I bet you we do. 100%. Yeah. I do think some stuff will age well, like Coldplay, just for me, and I think you as well. It just ages well, and that's just one band because we particularly listen to them a lot. I'm sure maybe, well,
that's going back to the Real Instruments
stuff. Yeah, like what's that guitar player singer John Mayer? He ages well. One Republic kind of ages well. They have some early stuff that's kind of like that. Like you can definitely hear it. But that's just a part of like generations. Like when you look at decade by decade, like the 70s, 80s, 90s, the music changes. Now from the 2000s to the 2010s, you can see it, but it is going to be interesting by the time we hit like 2040 to see where music has been for the time that we've been alive.
Do you think people will still be listening to like Led Zeppelin, the Beatles?
Damn. I think it's going to die off.
Think so?
Yeah. I do know there's like our generation that do hear of it. And like it and listen to it, but I think it's just not going to be able to compete with how much new music is coming out and what is being streamed, whether it's on TikTok or whatever.
I think it's always going to be there.
You think so?
It's going to be that nostalgic thing. Like I'll still listen to like music from the 20s, the 30s.
That's true.
And that's 100 years old.
Yeah, that is true. But how many of us are there doing that?
Yeah, right. Not a lot, but
compared to maybe how many were doing it in 1980 when it was only 60 years prior or whatever, or maybe if you're talking the 40s music, 40 years later versus 80 years later.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Why listen to that classic music when you can have some hair metal band screaming in your ears
from the or disco pop, like
disco,
like U2 kind of got disco poppy in the 80s.
They did a little bit.
Not in the 80s, but in the 90s they got like disco poppy.
Their cringe era.
Yeah, Zootopia. I do have one song called Discoteca, and it's funny. It's just a funny song that you wouldn't expect from U2. We digress. Mac DeMarco has a new album coming out, 5 Easy Hot Dogs, January 20th. I don't particularly listen to Mac DeMarco. Do you?
No, I've never heard of him.
Really?
5 Easy Hot Dogs.
Well, Mac DeMarco's like this indie kind of guy. He has he's pretty notorious. Like a lot of people love him. So this is why I felt it was important to mention it. Also because these are only like the known album releases as of right now, a couple days into January. He did a road trip from LA to Utah, and he basically created an instrumental album that he's going to release. They're titled corresponding to the cities that they were written in. And the funny story is that when he got to Utah, he went to this cabin that like could house 20 people. He spent one night in it with like a bunch of taxidermied animals, and then drove right back because it was
too much.
It was too much for him. So I thought that was kind of an interesting story. So be on the lookout for that. His last album was in 2019 with Here Comes the Cowboy. There is a song on that one, I believe, that you would recognize because he did have one that got pretty popular. You just might not know that he's the guy that did it. And then I'm going to list off in the rap industry that we were just talking about. We have 5 big names that are coming out with potential album releases. Some are confirmed, some are speculated. Lil Uzi Vert in February is dropping Pink Tape. A$AP Rocky is dropping Don't Be Dumb. The official date is to be announced. Playboi Carti as well, to be announced, but he's going to drop an album called Music, he confirmed. J. Cole, there's speculation he's dropping an album called It's a Boy, to be announced. And then Travis Scott is supposedly dropping Utopia, but there's a slight delay because of the events that happened at Astroworld where 10 people died. So just wanted to mention those real quick.
Lil Uzi might be dropping that album from jail.
Yeah, he might be, dude. Allegedly, he might be dropping the album. Potentially.
Yeah.
Just worth mentioning for our rap viewers out there. The last thing that I have to say is something interesting and that I sent to you. We've been talking about artificial intelligence a lot, and especially how it relates to music. There's something called sounddraw.io, which is a new platform that I thought is pretty interesting for all our viewers to check out, especially if you are in the art of making music. It's AI music generation. Basically, you select the mood, the genre, the theme, the length, the tempo, and the instruments. You can interchange every piece of those to create whatever you want. There's 2 plans. There's a free plan, which basically, by the way, this isn't sponsored. This sounds like a sponsored
It kind of
post.
sounds like a sponsored
I was
thing,
like, why does this sound like so sponsored? We are not sponsored. I wish we
Use
were.
promo code FORESTLAKE10 to get 10% off.
We're just sharing our knowledge about things going on in the industry. I don't know how long this has been around, but 2 plans. There's the free one that generates unlimited songs, but you can only bookmark them. Then you can pay $16.99 a month.
It generates like a full song?
Dude, it does, yeah. I'll get to what it sounds like here in a minute. $16.99 a month. You can have royalty-free music at your disposal. You can download 50 songs a day. Use it for YouTube, radio, games, apps, commercials, whatever you want. You can use it with it's royalty-free. Again, download up to 50 a day, and it's personal and commercial use.
Now, what kind of production are we talking? Are we talking like 2010 Miley Cyrus Party in the USA or Max Martin nowadays?
It's not Max Martin, but so it's interesting. I was playing around with it, and I think there's more I can do to kind of maybe get a good sound out of it, depending on what you're piecing together with those five components or the 6 components I listed off. Mm-hmm. It doesn't sound like a mix and mastered radio ready song. And it won't, but your royalty-free music, your like commercial jingle, that's like you
like
just,
your background music for videos and stuff like that.
It's like that purpose, and it's not bad considering that you literally click a couple buttons and it generates a full song for you. So it's kind of scary because this is in its infancy stage.
Yeah,
where does it get from here?
It'll probably sing you a whole song.
Yeah, there is no lyrics on it.
Yeah,
but it will.
I mean, for what, $16 a month? That's not. It's not terrible.
If you're like a
full-time YouTuber or something.
Yeah, a full-time YouTuber and you get royalty-free music.
Yeah, $16 a month.
And you can choose the music. You don't just... I think YouTube, it just gives you what it gives you. But now you can create it. And you can do it 50 times a day. And you can do... So think about this. You can pay for that for a month, get the royalty-free music, and then if you unsubscribe, you still have that royalty-free music to use. They don't take it away from you.
It's also unique to you, right? Like...
Yeah.
No one else has that same song.
Yeah, I would believe so. I would have to try it if we set parameters to be the same.
Whew. We were charging a lot more than that.
But that's all I have to share on the day. Do we have any other news on your end over here?
That wraps it up.
That wraps it up for today.
That's it.
Well, Brennan, it's been a pleasure sitting down and talking with you today. Thank you, sir. Another week done.
Another week down.
And for all the viewers here at the Forest Lake Morning Show, we thank you so much wherever you're tuning in from, whether it's Instagram or YouTube, or I think that's... Oh, we have a Spotify. And yeah, Apple Music, whatever.
That's it.
We appreciate it very much. Thank you for your time. And we look forward to sitting down with you yet again for another week of music industry news next week.
See ya.
See you guys.